Are you two childhood buddies? Grew up in the same neighborhood?
He wasn't in my neighborhood.
Where did it all begin?
I certainly wasn't in his. No.
Well, no, in fact, you were, well, it isn't a case of the prince and the pauper exactly, but you had very different backgrounds.
In a way, we have quite different backgrounds. I come from Lower East Side in New York, and parents worked in the garment district. And
was your father a pants presser?
Women's dresses, you know, those big irons with the springs, all that sort of thing. My mother was the, they call them operators, sewing machines. And most of the family went into that business, you know, working that way.
Whereas Brian was born in?
Newark, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yes, and but we moved to Philadelphia when I was about 6. My father's an orthopedic surgeon, and my mother sent me to dancing school, so it was a lot different.
Big difference.
There were no dancing schools in the Lower East Side.
No, dancing, running schools.
You learned to run.
Running, moving around.
So obviously, everybody who ever interviews you, Brian, has probably made the connection between your father being a surgeon and the blood in your films.
You mean the Butcher of Ballackinwood?
Is that what he was called?
Yes. No.
No, I mean, you did watch Operations as a child, so it would take only an amateur psychiatrist to say that's where he got his obsession with...
No, it wasn't an obsession, it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very interesting, seeing things sawed up and arms and hands, and I found it fascinating.
You might have made these very same films you have made without having had a father who was a surgeon.
Well, I think the difference basically is the fact that I have a very high tolerance for blood, unlike my associate here, who, you know, fingernail, he'll go crazy, pass out.
I pass out, yeah. Not other people's blood, not other people, just my own when it's being taken from them. I don't like that.
But in Taxi Driver, there's a good deal of gore.
And there's a lot of that. There's blood. If there's no blood in the last waltz, but there's a lot of red.
Yes.
Doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. It's a different thing.
Is there any generalization you can make about why kids with varying backgrounds like yours grew up to be movie directors? We know that all comedians are unhappy children, we're always told. Are all film directors something?
Persistent?
Persistent is right.
Persistent. Yeah. Sibling rivalry, in my case.
It could be the same here.
Yes, he has older brothers. Older brother?
Older brother, yeah, older brother, same thing. Same thing. He has 2, I have 1.
Yes.
But why film directing? Now, I would love to be a film director, but it has always occurred to me that it would be, you would have to know so much about so many impossible to master crafts that how does anybody have the nerve to do it? And as a kid, can you conceive of what film directing is like?
I don't think it's as difficult as that, really, because anybody that, you know, uses a camera or, you know, takes pictures, I mean, once you sort of get the idea of one picture after another, and then you're sort of able to tell people what to do, like I used to, at our assemblies, used to run, you know, the Friday afternoon, you know, promo for the football game or something.
Ran the projector
No, skits.
Oh,
I'd make up little skits for what was coming up on the weekend. I'd get all the guys together, I'd tell them what to do, and I'd act in them and things like that. But once you can sort of, you know, get people to do things, you know, you direct them, and then you figure out where to put the camera if you don't know anything about still photography, then it's not such a big jump from that. No?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. He gets me that way. No, for me, it just is a, you know, a real sense of dramatics in terms of, you know, that's from real life and on theater and on the screen too. Great sense of dramatics, and then a sense of composition.
But why not the stage? I mean, Ingmar Bergman is a stage director as well.
We grew up in the movie theaters, I think. I'm speaking for myself.
Yes, no, he grew up in the movie theater.
I mean, always in the movie theater.
Maybe that's something a director,
well,
almost every director I know
has. You want to do things large, operatic, you know. That's hard to do on the stage.
Large style, large scale.
Canvas.
Large scale.
Yes.
Can you recall, I think I can remember the first image I ever saw on the screen. It was a charge of Indians in the movie that my parents took me to as a kid. And if that isn't the first, it's the one that I remember as the first. Does everyone remember his first film that he went to?
I remember, I saw, it wasn't my first film that I went to, but I remember very clearly watching a trailer in True Color. True Color was a 2-strip form of color at the time. It was a cheap form of color, Republic Pictures. It was Roy Rogers and his horse Trigger, and he was jumping over a log. My father had taken me. Yes. You remember this, Brian? Remember? I told you this? And
jumping over a log.
Jumping over a log.
Sound
it was
exciting.
a beautiful horse, and he had all this fringe on. It just looked beautiful, you know. So he's sitting there watching this, and my father said, "You know what that is? You know that's Trigger." So you know what a trigger is? And I said, "No, it's a gun, isn't it?" He said, no, that's the horse. It's the horse's name. I'll take you to see that next week. I said, great. And from there on, I was hooked on Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and the Westerns. And
But at that point, did you want to make movies, or did you? I
no,
wanted to be Roy
I
Rogers
didn't remember
when
anything.
I saw
I think
that.
that was my first, that and being fed some baby food, I remember, in a high chair. That's my first two memories.
Baby food? You can remember baby food?
Oh, yeah. Maybe they fed me baby food when I was 5. I don't know. But I remember it basically, that was it.
Did you ever see Thief of Baghdad on television? I
Thief of
remember
Baghdad,
that.
I saw it, but I was
that
about
I remember.
6 years old, 7 years old. I saw it over and over again.
Arms coming around and stabbing.
Yeah, I remember it over and over again. And
That was
free
and
after
the
2,000
spider
years,
going across
yeah.
the big.
Beautiful film.
Someone, I believe, in that film throws a sword, and then they cut to the man who has just gone through. I think that's Thief of Baghdad.
I
or
remember
one
the
of those.
woman with all those
To the neck.
arms embracing and stabbing them. Oh.
I guess what I'm getting at is, as a kid, when you saw movies, did you go home and play the characters in the movies the way I did, or did you go home and play the director who makes the movies?
Always the character for me.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in movies when I was in high school.
Well, what hooked you, Brian? How'd you get in it?
When I got to college, I sort of got interested in theater, and they wouldn't let at Columbia, when you were an undergraduate, you couldn't direct plays. That was too sophisticated. You had to do other things. So I figured, well, maybe I could make a movie because I knew how to photograph things. And then I was allowed to do that, so I went out and got my friends, just like putting together these skits in assembly.
Yeah.
That's how I sort of started.
And doesn't a vast majority of the young generation want to make movies still? Isn't it still a hot thing to get into in colleges? I read something Pauline Kael wrote about lecturing on movies at colleges, and she said a director, Kazan in fact, talked to the students about movies he had turned down. They don't offer him the kind of things he wants, and the ones they offer are no good. And she said it immediately turned the audience against him, because they said, how can we listen to a man who would turn down a chance to direct a film?
How can you direct something you want to direct?
What they want to know is, how do you get into it? I'll direct and I'll do anything.
You have to do anything.
Maybe that's the right attitude.
You have to do anything. You have to do anything. You have to steal a camera. You have to steal film.
Right.
You have to steal money.
Right.
And I mean, you know, either you go to university. In my case, I had to go to university to be able to be allowed to use equipment. Right, Brian? You know,
Yep,
NYU. I had
that's
to,
right.
and as long as we were there to use the equipment and see some films and take the rest of the curriculum and that sort of thing, and just get that chance to work. Other kids, when I started teaching at NYU a few years later, there were a lot of my students who were very rich, and their fathers had bought them 60mm Eclair cameras and that sort of thing, and but they had no story to tell. They said, so I don't know what to do. I just don't, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You wanted to get them by the
Dilettantes.
throat. Well, I said, no, you
Yes.
shoot the film. think of something, just, you know. But I couldn't. You can't do that if they don't have it. If they don't feel like putting anything on film. What are you gonna do? You know, they're not going to be able
Take
to do
their
anything.
camera away from them.
That's
and
right.
you make the
We'll
picture.
use the camera.
Right.
Yeah. Brian, you made 2 early films, one called Greetings and one called Hi Mom, which are shown now as retrospectives of your work, even though you're still at a very tender age, I suppose. They were early, what I think are called early low-budget features. When you look at those now, do you see a naiver De Palma? Where have you gone since then?
Well, there are many things about them which I wish I had more of in my later films, because they have a kind of spontaneity and life to them, because they're so rough. They're like almost like sketches. And
You've gotten too slick, perhaps?
that's not too slick. I got very interested in developing kind of a technique, and I went through about 6 films like that. Now I'm sort of moving back in the other direction, but I got very concerned with construction for like many films. And
It's
sort of a visualization of stories and things like that. And I sort of got away from all the sort of nutty, insane comedy that I used to do.
Yeah. Would you call that your anti-establishment period?
Not necessarily, because what the anti-establishment, the sort of Greetings era, is now very much the establishment. I think we just got older. I think that establishment, anti-establishment, became the establishment.
Who conceived the idea of a play in which the black cast attacked and raped members of the audience? That's one of the most
I did.
startling. That was
And
your
I did
idea?
it because there was a play I saw at the Public Theater in which a black actor came out and insulted the audience. He just, "You white motherfucker, you're no good, you know, get out of here." You know, and I said, I could see all these white people in the front row going, yeah. I can't believe this. They're sitting there being insulted, abused, spit on. And they just said, "That's right, they're right. And, you know, we're no good, you're right." You know, thrown out of the theater. They loved it.
So you took the
Yes.
logical extension of that.
You know, it was, big time Buck White, the year of those plays. You know, they just completely insulted the audience. And they just thought it was terrific.
And a lady is raped in at least
Yes,
one in your
yes,
film
yes.
instance
And
as
also-
well. It was quite an interesting experience
right,
or whatever.
Right. I go home and tell my friends.
Yeah.
That also, I had got an idea from Dionysus 69. I made a movie of Dionysus 69, which is the high point of environmental theater, where you got groped by the cast and participated in orgies. You remember that?
I never went to those theaters. I don't go to any theater where the actor comes out and starts touching you and does anything to you. I don't like that.
I don't either. Are you
I don't
serious?
That's
Because
why
I
I was
really
deadly
hate
serious
that.
about it. I don't do it. I can't. They want you to do something. I want to
You're
hear
a
no.
beautiful person.
I don't touch me. And
Problem.
yeah, what I'm saying. And no, it's just a frightening thing. You have to go to a theater. You want to see a play, and then the guy comes out and
You want the play to get you.
what? Well, no, of course not.
No, I think
sit
the
there and enjoy it. That's
proscenium
why I
ought
go
to
to
be
theater.
observed, or at least I want to have a rough idea where the
Too
audience leads off.
uptight,
in
too
this.
uptight. You gotta
Only
get in
movies.
with the flow a little bit.
Only